Hey there, Miss Falone with Wednesday Math. We're doing a follow-up to what we talked about on Monday when we introduced the order of operations. Your exit ticket on Monday asked you what the letters in GEMS stood for. GEMS is the acronym, or a meaning for each letter about what to do for order of operations, putting math in order so it makes sense. And GEMS means this. G is for grouping symbols like brackets or braces and parentheses. E is for exponents. It's when you have a number and a teeny number on top where you do something called evaluating powers. Not something we do in third grade. Don't worry about that. M reminds you to multiply and divide, but you start from the left and put them in order. And S is to remind you to subtract and to add, starting on the left and putting it in order. On Monday's video, I showed you a cool video with an astronaut about order of operations, but they use a different acronym. And that might be something your adults might remember or something you might hear other people you know. And that's the PEMDAS method. And one way to remember it, people say, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." And it tells us the same thing. You have parentheses, you have exponents, you have multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But the way that it's set up is really kind of confusing because the rules don't make they're a little confusing with the way that this is set up. We're going to talk more about that in a second. But and this I have for your adults because I had some questions about it. Both of these are the same thing. They both represent the order of operations, putting the math in order to get the right answer. G stands for all kinds of grouping symbols. In third grade, you see parentheses, and that's what you're going to do the most work with. But when you go on to fourth grade, fifth grade, middle school math, you're going to see other things like brackets and braces, and they're also grouping symbols. You have to do those first. They're part of the parentheses party where they want to get done first so they can go home. But it's not just parentheses. E is still exponents. Multiply and divide, it's still the M in both of those for the N and the D, but you start from the left and you go from left to right. A lot of students get confused here, which is why they changed it, that, oh, I have to multiply first, even if division comes first. And the same thing for addition and subtraction. Oh, it says A first, I have to add, even if it's in the wrong spot. And that was confusing a lot of students. So they cleaned it up and made it easier to remember with gems. And we get to look at cool diamonds and stuff. And it's easier to remember. So let's take a look. I'm going to have a video help me out to review order of operations. Okay, so he reminds you what is the order of operations. It's what it is. It's an order of operations, a set of rules for determining which math facts are done first. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and we see those in parentheses sometimes. Here's what I just shared with you. What about Aunt Sally? Math teachers are saying now it's not as effective. Effective means how well does it help us understand, and it tells us the same thing: parentheses, and then exponents, and then you get to multiply and divide before you add and subtract. And like I started explaining a second ago, they changed it because multiplication and division and then addition and subtraction, but too many students get confused. They think, oh, I have to do that first. You don't have to do either one first. It's whatever comes first from left to right. And that sounds a little bit confusing, but it's going to make sense in a second when I show you an example. Okay, it says common student mistake, the mistake that we see a lot of the time too. It says 10 divided by 5 times 2, and because the PEMDAS says multiply and then divide, students want to multiply first. They want to do the 5 times 2 first, and 5 times 2 is 10, and they put it back in their equation, so they do 10 divided by 10, and it equals 1, but that's not the correct answer for this number sentence. I have to follow the order of operations and remember to go from left to right. So I always find the 10 divided by 5, and do that part first. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Pull the rest of my equation. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And that's the correct answer because I followed the order of operations in the right steps. It says, good thing there's a more effective strategy for helping kids to understand and apply the order of operations. Like I was telling on Monday, it's not any better or any worse. It's just a little bit easier to have students understand because it tells us the same information. But the G for in GEMS reminds us of all groupings. Multiplication and division are part of the M. It reminds us to go left to right with the arrow, and then subtract and add. It comes first to do left and then right. Underneath the M, you see all the different symbols, by the way. There are the two division, the two subtraction. Okay, it says, let's use the GEMS on an example that students struggle with. It's going to show you a really long equation, and when you see it right now, you're going to say, oh my goodness, what is Miss Falone doing to me? But it's not that bad. We have to slow down and follow the steps. It says parentheses 5 times 8, close parentheses, divided by 5 times 2 minus 1 plus 3. G says do the groupings first. 5 times 8 is 40. E says exponents, but there are not any. Remember, you won't see them in third grade math. The M says multiply and then divide from left to right. So I look at my equation and I start on the left. The first symbol is division. 40 divided by 5. Well, that's 8. 8 times 2, it comes next. And 8 times 2 is 16. So that's going to take the place in my equation. And then I go on to the S for subtraction and addition from left to right. The first symbol is the subtraction symbol, the minus sign. 16 minus 1 is 15. It's going to replace it. And 15 plus 3 is 18. It's going to replace with the answer. And when I only have one number and everything else is done, that's my answer, and I am finished. So that's how I take a ginormous equation and I use order of operations to say, no sweat, I got it under control. We're going to look at 2 more examples. I'm going to walk through you through them slowly so then you're ready to go. Remember, parentheses and grouping symbols come first. Then exponents, which you won't see, multiplication and division, addition, subtraction. So let's take a look at our first question. 11 minus 3 times 3. Well, I want to see. Remind myself. G, E, M, S. Okay. G is for groupings. Do I have any? Nope. I'm done. I won't have exponents. Multiplication and division. I have a subtraction symbol and a multiplication symbol. And if I'm working at home on scrap paper, it might be easier for me to highlight or circle those operation symbols to remind me of what to do. So multiplication and division, 3 times 3 comes first. That's 9. And it might help me too to copy the number sentence over to keep me organized. That helps me a lot. If we were together, that's what I would show you. It takes up more space, but it keeps you organized. Now I have 11 minus 9. 11 minus 9, 9. 10, 11 is 2. This is my last number. There's nothing else to do. No equations, no operations. So my number is 2. That is my answer. Let's click on the answer block. See if it's going to work today. So I can put the answer in so I can check that you are right. 2. Okay. Now I got to go on to my next question. G, E, M, S. Let me tell you, third grade people, I don't know how you all use your tablets and your phones to write on in color because this is tough. Okay. I've got 15 divided by 3 plus 2. That's why it's so important to highlight or circle your symbols so you know what the heck you're talking about, right, Miss Valone? Right. I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents. Multiply and divide, I have a division symbol. 15 divided by 3 is 5, because 3 times 5 is 15. I'm not done. I still have a plus 2 over here. So now I have 5 plus 2. I know that 5 plus 2 is 7. Click on my answer here. Here's 7. Erase. Am I correct? Let's find out. All right, third grade folks. We're correct. Good job. Let's see. Do we have any more we can do together? Okay, we've got 2 more we can do. I'm going to set up my screen by circling my symbols and by putting gems on top for my 2 questions. This would be a good time to pause the video and get a piece of scrap paper so we can do these together. All right, I'm ready if you are. Pro tip. On Monday and Tuesday, we talked a lot about parentheses. So now that we've mastered parentheses for Thursday and Wednesday, you're not going to see parentheses very often. You will, but not too many, because they want to know, can you follow the order of operations? So for question number 3, 20 divided by 5 times 2. Remember, no groupings, no exponents, multiplication and division. Now, if I'm not careful, it says multiplication and division, so I might want to multiply first. This is what the video was showing us. I don't want to do that. I need to go in order from left to right. So I start with here. 20 divided by 5. What times 5 is 20? 4. Times 2, because I'm not finished. Now I have 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Doubles fact, 4 plus 4. I think the answer is 8. Let's click on our answer box. I'm going to write 8. How we doing? All right, good deal. 6 plus 4 divided by 2. Multiplication and division comes first, so I need to go here to my division symbol. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Don't forget about the 6 plus. 6 plus 2 is also 8. Let's clear our screen and see if we are correct. Is 8 the right answer for both of these? That's crazy. We're right. Correct. All right, lovelies. I'm proud of you. I know you can do this. You've made it this far, so I'm going to take you back to the classroom real quick. Your treat for being here. Thursday's math work. Watch the video today, answer the exit ticket that I'll show you in just a second, and then on Thursday, tomorrow, you're going to show what you know by doing another Google form. This Google form is going to ask you to follow the order of operations. When you get there, there's your reminder. What are the steps and what does it do? And then it has some questions for you. Some of them are questions asking you to solve and use the order of operations, and some of them ask you to follow those directions. So this one says the question is 11 minus 3 times 2. What step do you do first? Do I subtract first or multiply first? Check the order of operations, tap your answer, and then go on. Now it says 11 minus 3 times 2, solve. Okay. Pick what you do first, pick what you do second, find your answer from these 4, tap it, and go on. If you don't see your answer, grab some scrap paper and try it again. You have, I think, 10 questions to go through on Thursday. Hit submit, and then you're done. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for. Your exit ticket for today. You've watched this video, you've practiced with me, now you want to know. Exit ticket. In the private comments box, it's going to be somewhere over here. Remember, mine looks different from yours. Type the answer to this equation. Parentheses 3 times 2, close parentheses, plus 4 minus 1 equals a mystery number. Follow the order of operations, type the mystery number into the private comment box, and press mark is done. If you have any questions about math, or if you just want to say hi, you know how to contact me. Google Classroom, Class Dojo, Google Voice, phone and text. Send me an email. Whatever you need, I'm here. I can't wait to see your hard work. Show off what you know. And that's the end of math for today. Good work. If you have extra time, head over to Reflex or Compass to sharpen those skills. Good work. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.